Hey, good evening, everybody. Uh, I just noticed that some of you are having difficulty, or at least asking questions, how you can copy from your virtual machine to your host machine, right? So, like from this Ubuntu, like to your Mac or to your Windows, whatever your host machine is. So, just decided to put together this little video. Maybe it'll help you. There's a couple of ways you could do it. I think, I mean, they're both kind of easy, but maybe one's easier than the other. Anyways, let's go through it. So we're going to use the native shared folders within VirtualBox to give this a shot. Okay. So you just click on Devices in VirtualBox and you say Shared Folders, and let's go to the settings. And you can see right over here, I already have a shared folder. So essentially what's happening here is anything on the virtual machine that falls under the Mount Ubuntu folder gets mapped to, this VM shared folder on my desktop. Okay, so, you're not going to have this at first. So what you're going to do is you're going to add it. Okay, I'm not going to cancel that one. I'm just going to show you how this one is set up here, right? So in your folder path, you're just going to put whatever folder you want on your Mac or your Windows machine that you want the files from your VM to the Windows or Mac machine copied to. So this is going to be on your host. Okay, just give it a name. Call it a name. I called mine VM shared. I said auto mount, and then over here the mount point I put in /mount/Ubuntu, and then I said make it permanent. So when I do that, okay, what VirtualBox is going to do is it's going to create this folder called Ubuntu under the /mnt folder. Okay, so this is now a folder that anything we put into this folder is automatically going to show up into this folder here. Okay, so I got this folder over here, desktop, VM shared. So far I just got these two files here, right? Okay, so if you notice the permissions here on this Ubuntu folder, the group ownership is VBoxSF. Okay, the instructor account is not a member of that group, right? I mean, if you try to copy a file on your virtual machine to this folder, it's going to be denied, right? It doesn't matter if you're instructor or sysadmin. Neither one of us is in this VBoxSF, VirtualBox SF group. So we have to add ourselves into that group first. Okay, so if you remember the command to add ourselves, so I got a sudo, right, because I'm changing the user group ownership, right, or group membership. So user mod -ag, we'll specify the group VBoxSF, and then we say instructor. Okay, so when we do that, I've got to put that in here. Okay, now for you, you're going to put here sysadmin. Okay, so you're adding yourself to the VBoxSF group. We need to do that because if you could see, and we're going to talk about this tomorrow actually, the group has full permissions to this folder. So we're going to be able to write to it for sure. There's a W, right? So we're going to be able to copy files into this folder. And as soon as you copy files into that folder, it's going to show up wherever you mapped it to on your host machine. So in my case, it's VM shared on my desktop. So right now I could say I only have these two files here, right? Okay, I'm going to type ID. Now I could see here that I am now also a member of the VBoxSF. I could also type groups. I could see I'm a member of VBoxSF. Now when you do this the first time, it's going to tell you that you're a member of it, but it's not going to fully take effect until you fully log out of Ubuntu and then log back in, right? Because you already have a current session in. So you have to log out and log back in for that change to your group membership to take effect. So I'm now going to just show you how to do that, right? So I'm going to go here. I'm going to click on instructor. I'm going to say log out. Say sure, log out. And I'm going to log in again, right? Okay. Okay, so I'm back in. Okay, now let's say I want to copy this list.txt to that folder. So I'm just going to do copy list.txt to mount Ubuntu and done. Now you could see here, I just got list.txt. Okay, so this is how we can, copy files off from the virtual machine and put it directly into our host machine. So your host being your Windows or your Mac, whatever it is that you're using. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. Now, if this fails for you, you could try the second way, which I'm about to show you, or you can just opt to go the second way if you find that the second way is easier. Okay, so the second way is as follows. We're going to use a command called secure copy. Okay, so this is now on my Mac, right? So this is what I'm going to do. Okay, so if you could see here, let me just blow this up a little bit. All right, so what's happening here is the following. From your host machine, you want to secure copy a file from the virtual machine, right? So I'm going to copy this file over here, list3.txt, which is in my home folder, right? Home instructor. So this is the command I'm going to do. Okay, and I'm going to hit enter. It's going to ask me for my password. And it's done, it copied it. Okay, now depending on where you run this from, so for example, my current folder here where I'm at the shell in my Mac, right, my terminal, I'm on the desktop VM shared, which is also over here. I have it here, and I can see I got list3.txt. So this is pretty simple. Okay, what this is saying is, secure copy, I'm specifying the port 2222, and I'm saying instructor at localhost. Okay, why am I saying instructor at localhost and not the actual IP address of the VM? Because when I go to my machine settings, I click on the network. So I see I'm NATed, okay, and this is the default. So if you didn't mess around with your network, it should be identical to what we're seeing here. And when I go to port forwarding, okay, it says over here that SSH you can access on the VM just by, on your host machine, SSHing to the local host, which is also 127.0.0.1 on port 2222. Secure copy is a subsystem of SSH. So in other words, it's going to use the same SSH protocols and connect to the same SSH port. So 2222. Okay, so that's why I did what I just showed you here. Okay, I'm saying localhost. Okay, and I'm specifying the port 2222. So I could have also done it this way. Now let's say I want list 2. I'm going to copy list 2, and I'm just going to say 127.0.0.1. Just say yes, unknown fingerprint, that's okay. And it copied it. So now I have list 2 over there. What's the difference? There is no difference. Okay, localhost, that's just like a host name for 127.0.0.1. They mean exactly the same thing. So you could either do the IP address or you can reference it by the host. Okay, now this is for Mac, but it doesn't matter because you can also download the secure copy on your Windows machine, open up a shell and execute the exact same thing, and it should work. Okay, and I'm going to show you over here. That's the link over there, and what you want is PSCP. Okay, secure copy client. Okay, so you can just download that. Okay, and then it's going to most likely go to your downloads folder. So once you're on your downloads folder, so pretend this is your Windows shell, right? You're just going to put, instead of secure copy, you're just going to put PSCP. Okay, that's it. So that's how you could do it on Windows if you want to use the secure copy method of transferring files from your virtual machine to your host machine. Okay, all right, hopefully this is going to help you out. Thanks.